Another concept to teach as part of your phonological awareness is the concept of first and last. This is really important for literacy. So the concepts of first and last will be important when a child is learning about the first sound and the last sound in words. And if they're not sure about these concepts, then the abstract nature of sounds in words will be very difficult. So again, start with concrete examples. And there are lots of different ways that you can teach first and last incidentally throughout the day. So for example, you could play a game in a small group, lining the children up at the door or the window and point out who's first. And then get the children to turn around and reverse the order. Now who's first? Who's last? At meal times, you might comment on what the child eats first. Oh look, first you're eating your vegetables. When building Lego towers, you can talk about what colours you're going to choose first, or whether you're going to use large bricks or small bricks first. The same if you're building a tower yourself, you can talk about what you've decided to do first. Follow the same idea when drawing pictures. What colour did you choose first? That sort of thing. You could line up animals, plastic animals, pointing in one direction and talk about who's first. Oh look, the cat's first. These are really great ways to teach this concept. You can use the timetable for your centre's day. So first we're going to be doing play outside, and last we're going to be reading a book, those sorts of things. Using sequencing stories, you can comment on which picture comes first and ask the child to make a story. So what happened in the first picture? There are, as I say, lots of different ways and lots of different examples in our resource section for these ideas. Start with concrete examples and then we can move on to more abstract examples when we're talking about sounds in words and what sound they hear first. So in your resource kit, you'll see some nice games for teaching sequencing. So I'm just going to go through with a couple of examples of this one. And there are some good visual prompts for children. So you might like to use a little picture board like this if you're wanting to introduce some numbers, so first, second, third, or beginning, middle and end, or there's a blank version as well. And I've just got a couple of examples here. We can give the children the pictures and ask them to have a look at them and see what might come first. So this one is building a snowman. So we might start with the snowman body. And then next, we build the head and the legs onto the body. That one might go like that. And then the third picture is the snowman finished. So we've got at the beginning, we just had one ball of snow. In the middle, we had the three making up the snowman body. And at the end of the sequence, we've got the whole snowman complete. So that can be a good activity. I'll show you another one. They come in various degrees of difficulty. So you can give the children the cards and ask them to just have a look and see what might come first. And they might say, okay, well, first we've got an egg on the leaf. And then next is the caterpillar comes out of the egg. And at the end, we've got the butterfly comes after the caterpillar. You could also have some discussions. That might be a cocoon. So perhaps it goes like this. And all these sorts of conversations. First we had a caterpillar, then he becomes a cocoon, and then he becomes a butterfly. Lots of great language opportunities and discussions around these sorts of things. And the last example I've got is little girl picks an apple. And she's got the apple, and then she eats the apple. And again, you can have some discussions and some debates about what might come first, middle and last, because there are often different ways of looking at it. And in child-focused play activities, we should be listening to the children and taking their views into account. So a great little way of teaching beginning, middle and end in a little structured play activity. So examples of teaching last in incidental teaching. When a child's familiar with the concept of first, you can use similar activities for teaching last. And again, you'll be guided by the child. As you introduce last, you can contrast it with first. Say, look, this is first, but this one's last. Repeat and repeat examples of first and last in the environment. We want to expose the children to these concepts and then respond to their emerging skills. So if in your centre you have morning circle time, first and last can be taught both as a position and a time concept. Understanding the concepts in different contexts is a little bit tricky, but it can also be lots of fun. So you can use group time where you're talking with the children to talk about sequencing and ordinal numbers by applying these concepts to your daily plan. So some examples of these would be to explain to the children that first you'll have some circle time, some group time, and then you're going to eat some apples and cheese cubes for a snack, and then you'll play outdoors last. So keep it fairly simple when you're beginning to use these sequencing words, and keep your sequence to usually 3 steps would be enough. So story time. Story time's a great time to talk about first, next and last. When you can sequence the story, you can use picture cards and you can use those words of first, next and last with your story. So we know what happened first, what happened next, what happened last. Beginning and end are words we use to cover these concepts as well, both as position and time-based meanings. And it'll be easier to teach the position concept at first, but use your imagination to talk about how activities in the group begin and end. And you might like to show that these concepts are similar to first and last. Use the word begin in place of start and end in place of last, and really start to mix up that. We want to give children a very rich language experience. You can read a short story to children and ask them what happened at the beginning of the story, and show them with the pictures what happened at the beginning to give them a prompt. What happened next and what happened at the end. And you can see in this book reading that the teacher's doing just that.
All right, Bridie, can you tell me what happened at the start of this book? What was happening at the start? Let me give you a hint. If I show you the page, you might remember what was happening. What was happening in the beginning? Not sure? Okay, just I'm not sure.
I know.
Okay, Raph. What was happening in the beginning, Raph?
We said, this guy is called Mercury's an alpaca.
So in the beginning of the book, were we meeting the characters of the book?
Yes.
We were being introduced to the characters. Oh, Seamus, what was happening at the end?
They were giving a shake to the yaks.
They were giving a shake to the yaks.